Well, there we are. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. My word, you're going to get sick of looking at me. Oh, that was based upon the fact that, what, less than 2 hours ago, we had a nice hour and a half chit chat out here on the front porch. Hello, Joyce. And we're just getting started. Now, I have to tell you that the sale doesn't start until 8 o'clock. This is the Ed McMahon whip you up into a frenzy preview. I hope. Oh, wait until I tell you what I did in the 2 hours between the front porch frivolities and this very moment. I did a couple of things. Hey, Jenny. Yes, I was going to say, okay, listen, everybody who's in here now, I need your help. Help me. If anyone comes in and says, what? I didn't think the sale started until 8 o'clock. You know me, I'm going to run my mouth for 30 minutes. Would you tell the folks in the chat, hi, Lori, hi, Lisa, Cheryl, Michelle, Mary, back in the day, you're all here, Blue Flamingo, Lemonies. Would you tell the folks, relax. He's running his lips. He's not going to start till 8 o'clock. Patrick isn't joining me till 8 o'clock, and I'm not going to sell anything till about 8:15 after Patrick gets here. This is because here I am on Thursday night. We don't normally get together on Thursday night, but it seems as though Thursday night has kind of become the default night for sort of extra things. So if you'll help me out with that, that would be fantastic. Glass-Tastic. This is the Glass-Tastic live sale. So if you'll help folks, help me out, folks, with that, and let everybody know that we're really not going to start till 8 o'clock. I'm hoping I can surprise Patrick and we can get a bucket load of folks in here before he gets here at 8. So you're the early birds. I don't have any worms for you. Now, let me tell you what I did in between the frivolities and now. I went down in the basement and threw some clothes in the washing machine, turned it on. The water is coming in. I'm out of soap powder. Oy. Well, what are you going to do? You turn the washing machine off. The dirty clothes are sitting in water. I'm not going to let them sit in there all night. I say, let me get in the truck, zip over here to the market, and get some laundry powder. Well, so I did that. I got in the car, went to the local market. On the way is a thrift store. I'm looking at my watch and I'm saying, I'm not ready for tonight. I got this to do, that to do. I haven't eaten. Let me run in this thrift store. The laundry can wait. So I got the laundry powder, detergent for the washing machine. And I went into the thrift shop. Guess what I found? Here comes one of my squirrels. Guess what I found in the thrift shop. You don't have to guess. I'm going to show you. Now, it's not for sale tonight. One is pottery, one is glass. Are you ready for this? I know that I think elderly Poodle is going to flip a noodle because I think she likes Art Deco ships. Well, I do too, Poodle. And it's going to be really difficult for me to sell this because I'm in love with it. Can you see it? Can you see it? I just stopped at the thrift shop to get that laundry detergent and look at what I got. This is a piece of Nelson McCoy. Yeah. And very 30s or 40s. Very stylized. The deco ships with the sails. I love nautical things. I always have. You know, I live an hour from the Atlantic Ocean. I'm a Cancer. I love summer. I love the ocean. I love ships. I love blue. How can I possibly? I didn't even know that this thing existed. I mean, I've probably seen it, and look at the condition on it. There's some, I haven't cleaned it yet. Look at that. You see, this is the reason why. Who needs laundry powder when you can have that? What is this? This is about 9 inches tall. I flipped out. And I had already been in the store earlier today, and the lady was like, "Oh, you love me. You came back to see me." All the people at the thrift shops know me because I'm in and out of them, sometimes twice a day. Flipped. I know, Cindy. Isn't it a good score? You should keep that. I think I'm going to keep it. It's so me. It's so 1925 bungalow. Don't tell Poodle. She's going to want it. Oh, I don't know. I can't keep everything. So I got that. Are you ready for the second thing? Hold on to your Naugahyde recliner. Now, before I bring this into your view, there are plenty of glass baskets. Duncan Miller, Westmoreland, there's somebody else that pumped them out, just did globs of them. And a lot of them are just glass baskets. Nothing to hoot and holler over. This one, the plant behind you gives you funky hair. This one is a step above your average glass basket. Here she comes. It's crystal, well, clear, yeah, no lead. It's Heisey, and I know that you can't see it very well. It's probably not showing up. My computer looks a little fuzzy. I don't know. I might be fuzzy on your screen. I hope I'm not. Am I fuzzy on your screen? Let me bring it in. Look at this big, beautiful glass basket. And it is 13 inches tall. Now that I will sell. I'm not a glass basket collector. So of course the Heisey H is on the bottom, and I had time to wash it. It was filthy. And but when I was in the store, I said, "Whoa, that's quality." You could see it through the filth. Look at the wheel cutting on this basket, this Glass-Tastic basket. Yes, it's a Glass-tacular basket. Now, that's not a chip. There's a little tiny rough, I ain't no chip though. Oh, and I need to wash it again. You can still see some smudges on it. But yowza, yowza, yowza. Or wowza, wowza, wowza. Glass-tastic. Glass-tastic basket. And it ain't plastic. Oh, it's clear. I'm glad, Lynn, that you said it looks clear. Yeah, quality through the filth, Luann. And you know it. It just, I couldn't, can you imagine? I run out to get laundry powder to wash some blasted clothing, and I come home with these. I'm telling you. I couldn't believe it. Now, oh, I've got an update for you. We've got 110. Oh, good. Let's see if we can get, maybe we can get 200 people before Patrick gets here and surprise him. Let me blow up I've got another screen over here. I'm going to blow it up. I can't see myself, but I can see. Yeah, I did get the laundry powder, Jeffrey. Hold on for one. Oh, now what have I done? I'm always, no, that's not what I wanted. Oh, there we go. Okay. Then I came home, took a quick shower because I felt like I needed to be refreshed. Picked at some chicken that I cooked. I had some old carrots out of a can. You know, I don't care. I'll open up a can. Now, I like fresh vegetables. Love it. Tonight, it was eat some cold chicken out of the refrigerator. A can of Del Monte. It was peas. It was carrots and I mixed peas with it. That's not succotash. I don't care. I mixed green peas and mushy cooked carrots. I ate that. So I'm showered. I got clothes in the dryer. Don't look behind that lamp. Everybody's looking. Behind that lamp, that's my bedroom. It's where the magic happens. But on the bed was the first load of laundry. I actually did 2 loads. The first load I took out of the dryer and just dumped it on the bed. Haven't folded a thing. So I got hot laundry on the bed. So I got to go in there tonight at 11 o'clock and fold that laundry. Listen, you know, when you live by yourself, you do it all. I have not always lived by myself, but when you live by yourself, the cooking, the cleaning, the shopping, and if you don't feel like it, it doesn't get done. How many folks out there live alone and you go, oh, hi, can't somebody run the vacuum cleaner for me today? Can't somebody clean the toilet? Can't somebody go get the laundry powder? But when you live alone, there you go. Loretta says, amen, I agree. You know, Loretta, sometimes, and if you don't do it, there ain't nobody else gonna do it if you live by yourself. I'm not complaining. I am really not. I'm not. I'm just saying that sometimes that's the reason why there's a pile of unfolded clothes on the bed. If I opened up the window, you'd actually be able to see it. You can actually see this blue compote. Look right over top of it. Do you see like a little mound? That's a bath towel. Oh, well. At least I'm not showing you my dirty laundry. I told her not to come tonight because of the sale. You told who not to come tonight? Oh, you want somebody? Oh, that's something else I did was took out the trash because tomorrow's trash day. I took my trash out to the street. Yep. I don't live by myself, but I do everything. I hear you, Chris. Well, Christina, whoever it is that lives with you, you tell him or her or they or them to get up and do something, unless they're unable. Pamela says, Loretta says, I make the boyfriend do that on Sunday night. Okay. Your boyfriend only comes over on Sunday night? I'd have something else in mind on Sunday night if he only came over once a week, but I don't know. I need to not get so fresh. Look, it's already 1:15, and I thought we were going to have like an hour to talk to each other. Your daughter comes home for good in a week. Is she in college? Okay. Let me give you an update from earlier about that. Guess what? Nothing was changed on that. That's exactly the way it was manufactured. I do have a book on Judaica, and I was doing some reading about ceremonial. The word menorah just means lamp, right? And so there are Hanukkah, and I think I saw that maybe, I think the Perrys had put in the chat that there are several different types of, that some are for ceremonial use in synagogues. So the Christmas Hanukkah menorah, yes, we know how many candles that has. But there are ceremonial pieces used in synagogues or used in homes. And I actually found, I can't show you the picture because I can't put a picture up. But I found an electric example, very, very similar to this, with the Star of David in the middle and three. This one has, I need to solder that. 3 on this side and 3 on this side. So menorahs, right? I'm not talking about the Hanukkah menorah, but ones used for ceremonial use in synagogues and in homes can have 6, 7, 8, 9 candles. So it's the Hanukkah candle. So we all learned, because there was some discussion about, well, it's been altered, or it's missing something, or that Star of David got stuck on there. Nope, that is just the way it came. So it was fun to kind of read and study that and do a little bit more of a deep dive into it. So that's something that I'm going to have to eventually restore. Yeah, eventually. I got a whole basement full of eventually. Okay. I do have a back porch, and in fact, I'm going to be getting a grill. Been telling a friend of mine, or a friend of mine is going to help me get a grill. Most of those you have to put together, and I'm going to have a grill on the back porch. That was interesting that you asked me that. That was, no, I don't think. Well, we'll let that go. I have a, let me see. Yeah, we need some light, don't we? Is that better, the lighting? There's another light over there, but I don't think I need that yet. Now, 10 of 8. How many have we got now? 132. Maybe we can get 150 before Patrick gets here. Yeah, did you get, now see, did anybody tell PA Buzzard? See, no. Buzzard, we're not, I know, I'm not going to start selling till after 8. You're not late. Now, look, everybody, I told you to help me out and tell the people that come in and are think that they missed something. No, now see, I asked you guys to help me and you didn't do it. No, PA Buzzard. I came on early just to chit chat. Patrick will be here. We're not starting till 8 o'clock. The sale starts at 8. This is the preamble. This is the Ed McMahon getting everybody ready for Johnny Carson to come out. So you're all right. You're fine. Look at me asking the audience to work for me. I know. Probably not fair to do that. One of the things that, yeah, I know. Well, let's bring it back to this because I really want to focus on the glass. One of the things with the glass tonight is there will be 4 or 5 pieces that when I show them to you, I'm not exactly sure who the manufacturer is. And you know me, I don't misrepresent anything on purpose. So some of the pieces that I'm going to show you tonight, I'm going to sell them as examples of what I know them to be, but I may not be able to tell you exactly who the maker was, because if I don't have 2 credible references, I will not say, oh, this is Fenton, or oh, this is Ruhr, right? I won't do that. And trust me, I do internet searches. There's nothing wrong with that. That's a great place to start. But if I can't zoom in on exactly what a piece is, I will simply tell you that it seems to be in the style of, or it's from the era of, or it was made by a company such as, yeah. And so that's what you get from me. So I'm going, when I do that, for instance, let's just go ahead, but I know I'll talk about this again. This piece still has me stumped. What do I think it is? I think it is a piece of what Northwood would call intaglio glass, but I haven't been able to tell you exactly. Now, you don't have to screenshot that, shoot it, and Google it, because I've already done that. I Google stuff, but I don't trust what I see on Google, right? So trust me, there's nothing you're going to be able to find out in 2 minutes that I didn't already look through on the internet. And what I mean by that is you can do that, and you'll see, well, this person says that, and this person says that, and this person says that, and this person says that. I need credible references before I tell you what it is. Dugan. Oh, Karen, you know what? Here's the reason why. And you and I were right on the money with this. Dugan had an intaglio line, and I had a piece of Dugan intaglio 2 months ago. Calling it Northwood sort of slash Dugan is kind of okay. It's kind of like saying Lancaster and Anchor Hocking. Why? Because Anchor Hocking absorbed Lancaster. They had Lancaster molds. They were managing Lancaster. And sometimes you'll see a piece of glass and someone will say it's Lancaster, and somebody else will say it's Anchor Hocking. And guess what? They're both right, because those molds were shared. Same thing with Dugan and Northwood, because Harry Northwood was related to Dugan. Yes, that's right. Yeah, I was looking too. And you know what, Karen? There we go. Yeah, well, I knew it was pear and plum, and it's very thick, and you'll see that it has iridescence. That does not mean that it's necessarily carnival. Not all carnival. Just because it's a piece of iridescent glass doesn't mean that carnival glass collectors consider it carnival. But we'll chat later. All I could zoom in, that does not surprise me at all, because of the relationship between, and in fact, Karen, you and I have talked about Dugan, Northwood, same thing. We've often said that. Yeah, kind of the same thing, but no, but yeah. You get what I'm saying? Glass is so fascinating because of the relationships, the molds that were shared. There's Patrick. Doggone it. And I know you're in the green room. I'll bring you in a minute, Patrick. You know, I told you I was going to warm up the crowd and try to get about 200 people here before you got here. We got 151 waiting for you, Patrick, for you and your, that's right. That not all iridescent glass is carnival, and you will see people misrepresent that. The piece of intaglio glass that I had about a month ago or 2 months ago, I forget who bought it. That was a piece of Dugan / diamond because they changed they changed names at some point, and then the factory burnt down. Wonderful. So we'll have that in a little bit. Thank you, Karen. Let me turn on another light because we've got a little bit of cloud cover here. And I'm taking advantage of, it's interesting to know that Northwood, Dugan, personal connection. Yeah. Patrick is in the green room and he's chatting, but I haven't brought him in yet because we still have 5 minutes. There were familiar relationships between the Northwoods, Harry Northwood and Dugan. I thought that one of them married the daughter, but I can't keep it straight. I don't remember. I think Karen reminded me that they were brothers-in-law. Okay. I have lotion lamps that have iridescence. What's a lotion lamp? See, it's so, oh my gosh. There was so much, not interbreeding. That's really not what I wanted to say. And we talked about this before. All those companies, Pittsburgh, Ohio River Valley, West Virginia, other places as well. And everybody, they discovered the natural gas. It's all right there. Designers went from here to there. Molds got traded. And it's not all, you've got to do so much more than just a quick, you say, Scott, we've heard you enough. Okay. So, and then there's some other things I've got tonight that we've got a, what else are we going to do tonight? We've got a Blanco. We've got an Art Deco green mayonnaise. We've got so much, and it's going to be a blast. We're going to do one EAPG just to keep it in your mind. I don't want you to forget the old EAPG. What else? I don't know. But it's about 2 minutes to 8. Patrick, brush your teeth, comb your hair, powder your nose. We're going to go get you in just a minute. Let's enjoy the birds for a minute. Can you hear them? I'm taking advantage of being out on this porch before it gets stinking hot. But the nice thing about New Jersey is, we get breaks. I don't know how you guys do it in the South. I don't. But up here, we don't have to run air conditioning all summer. You can run it for 3 days, then open up the house, then close the house, then open up the house. That's how we did it when I grew up. Let me see if you're saying anything. Very excited to see what you've got. Hey, Revive It Sisters. Rue Schwartz. It does sound and look lovely on the bungalow porch. Thank you. Get your Jaeger and iced tea filled. I've got my iced tea over here. I don't have any Jaeger. I wish I had some, PA Buzzard. I like just a little Jägermeister. Boy, when that goes down, oh boy, you ready to, that really clears it out. Just a little that. Hi, Lisa. Lisa, was going to ask you. I don't know. Honey, when summer comes here, I take to the bed under the ceiling fan. What state are you in, Bonnie? I can't remember. What did I just ship to you? Oh, your gift. What it was that was gifted to you. Didn't Florida Golden Girl gift something to you? That just got put in the mail today. Patrick is saying, Scott, why don't you come and get me? Okay, let's go get him. This is your 10-second warning, Patrick. I was coming to get you. You're still driving. You're still on the bus at 8 o'clock at night? All right, let's go get him. Here, I'm coming to get you, Patrick. I think I can do this while I'm live. Oh, she's getting her son. Now, let me see if I can press the right button. I know this is annoying when my fingers go up there, but I'm just going to go get Patrick, and then I won't poke at you anymore. Here I come, Patrick. Boop, boop, a doop. I think that might add.
Good evening, sir.
Let's see. Do I actually?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hold on for uno momento. I know I'm still trying to get it
Up close and personal.
There's Patrick.
Hey, Scott.
How are you tonight, young man?
I'm doing well. I'm not hearing the bird song that you are enjoying on your porch, but can't complain.
Well, I am thrilled to welcome you. And we got 188 people just waiting to get their hands on those Cambridge flower frogs.
Awesome. Well, I saw your preview of some pretty awesome things you're bringing too. So I think hopefully they're here for everything and maybe a little, even some edumacation.
How are things in the lovely surrounding Chicago area?
Doing pretty good. Weather's been a little off. Had overcast most of the day, but at least started to warm up again. We started getting cooler. Now we're getting back up. It is what it is. It's Chicago. That's what we're used to, that kind of weird weather. It's usually warmer by now. This would be the celebratory opening of the pools would have been this weekend, but nobody was opening their pools this weekend. It was pretty cold.
Yeah, this would have been a very chilly Memorial Day weekend down the shore. So
it also just because of the way it landed on the calendar, it just seemed so early. Yeah, that's not why it was colder, but all of a sudden it's like, wait, there's still, another week afterwards that we're still going through the rest of the month. June is going to be here before you know it, though.
Well, listen, I am excited to do this. I gave some folks a little bit of, and you had already said this, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I mentioned that you were going to be moving, and this is an exciting time in your life. And so you're downsizing some of your personal from your personal collection, and you are discerning, you're knowledgeable, and that means that anyone who's interested in buying something can buy with confidence. And I say
absolutely.
I say that as someone who knows Patrick personally. You've been in my home. I haven't been to your home yet, but hopefully I'll be visiting you and Raj sometime.
Absolutely.
And I can tell you that there's an expertise to his research, and I can tell you something else. If it has his items will be described to a T. So, do you want to tell us any more about?
Yeah. So the piece of the puzzle that kind of gets pushed to the side, because I don't always talk about my personal business, but I am getting married. So for those who followed my channel somewhat recently, I've started talking about I came out last year and introduced my partner Raj, and he and I are now engaged. So we are going to be getting married this year. And yes, Jenny, I am staying local. I'm actually moving 8 miles. I'm going from my place to his place. So I am in the process of figuring out, just like anybody does, whatever kind of relationship you're in, when you're trying to take 2 households and merge them into one, How are you going to do it? Well, when you take a household of a maximalist that just collects everything that, that's shiny and pretty and catches my eye, some decisions have to be made. So some of them aren't that difficult. A lot of people are like, oh, I can't believe you're getting rid of the collection. Some of these collections I didn't even start until COVID. So they're not really a personal, I enjoyed them. Some of the glass, I've already sold my swung glass collection for those of you who are jonesing after my curved window with those. Those all went to one person. Those were purchased specifically to go in that window. Well, I'm not going to have that window anymore. So it was very easy to get rid of those. The flower frogs are going to be a little bit harder to get rid of, but I'm going to keep some of them, the ones that I like, and sell the rest, and maybe I'll help pay for the moving truck that'll take me 8 miles down the road. And yes, because maybe a couple of these things will just be also things that were glass. We'll see what happens tonight. But if it's coming out of my personal collection, it's going to be in pristine condition. And if there's anything, I'll make sure you know about it. But for the most, I am not the cobbler's kids have no shoes, or however that phrase goes. I keep the best for myself. I don't keep the damaged stuff. I keep the good stuff. So that's what's going to be on sale tonight.
I don't know about you, Patrick, but thank you for sharing that, and congratulations. One of the things with me that I find is that I get super excited about something, but then when I sell it, it's fine. I don't think I've ever sold anything that I've regretted. They're things, they bring enjoyment to us, they bring beauty to our home, but they're things, and things can be replaced, things can be lost, and broken, stolen. So I personally am not like, I get sentimental over like personal things, like I don't know, your grandmother's old Sunbeam mixer that, you wouldn't,
Yes.
I wouldn't take $1 million for that. But the things that I find, like I was just over the moon about that thing. And I say, ooh, but who knows? I could sell it. It could fall off a shelf and break. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
So it's a good perspective.
And for a lot of things, I mean, this is something, not that I'm a therapist or anything like that, but you start digging deep. I was replacing my emotional issues with things. So I wasn't sure what I was doing. I mean, for those who followed me for a while, I was married to a woman for 24 years. So it's things that I'm figuring out late in life. And in some cases, you fill that with other things. You keep yourself busy, you buy things and surround yourself with stuff. And at this point, Raj is my stuff. That sounds really weird, but I don't need this extra stuff anymore. And trust me, people at where I sell, the antique booth where I sell, they're appalled that I'm selling all of these things, and you could probably get more money if you try to sell everything individually or whatever. Just Mr. G's like, why don't I get a storage unit? I have no interest in paying for a storage unit. If it's not going to be on display, I'm certainly not going to enjoy it. And I got the money out of it. If I don't get what I paid for it, hey, I enjoyed it while I had it. There's no different than going for a really good dinner or going to see a really good show. Money spent. I enjoyed it. I'll have memory of it, pictures of it if I had some. Moving on. And I really hope and assume these things will go on to a better home, someplace somebody who really enjoy them, put them on display themselves, and maybe get a story to share. But everyone's got their own philosophy. No one's right. No one's wrong. Yeah. That's just mine.
Yeah. I enjoyed watching your video and talking about the different names of the ladies, because I had been fascinated a long time ago about the story of September Morn and the painting that was displayed in the art that was displayed, I think, on Fifth Avenue in New York. And was his name Comstock? I forget. The Vice. It's a fascinating story. I don't know if I'm sure many of you know it. Yeah. So there was this painting, and it was actually displayed, I think, in an art gallery in New York City, and crowds stood out, to see this woman in a pond, and it was called September Morn, and it was everywhere. It was in popular culture. It was in songs. I've got old Edison cylinders where there's a joke, there's a comedic line about, Uncle Josh out in the barn with a postcard of September Morn.
Oh, wow. That's fun.
Yeah. And it's like, you listen to this and you think, what is that? Like, those are cultural references that are just lost if you don't. And I think that's what got me started. I was thought, what is that? And then you go down this rabbit hole. So if anyone is interested, you can go and look about. And that guy, I keep wanting to say his name was Comstock, but I might not have that right.
Yeah, I
Sort
don't.
of,
I did have the story once, but I don't remember
I
who
don't
the
remember
original
either.
painting
But
is.
anyway, it's just I enjoyed your video and learning about the differences and when Imperial or whoever got them and put the ribs on the
Yeah.
bases and all of that. So I'm
And I
glad.
think that's where you and I are kindred spirits in that way. It's why I started watching your videos, early on. I want to learn things, and so all of a sudden, I still remember my very first flower frog, and I am keeping it. But my very first flower frog was the seagull, and I'd seen them before, and then that was the first one I ever found in the wild. I bought it for myself at an antique shop, and it just started me down this path of research and like, okay, who made them and how were they, what were they for and who sold them and what colors were out there. And I suddenly started realizing, and this is where I get really excited and sometimes frustrated. I'd go on and I'd say, okay, Bashful Charlotte, this is Bashful Charlotte. Wait, why are they saying this is Bashful Charlotte? Wait, why are they saying this is Bashful Charlotte? Like, wait, there has to be an answer. There has to be a right answer.
Right.
And I must find out what that answer is. And sometimes, you just start buying things specifically to prove your own point. Like, okay, I need to have them in front of me so I can study them. But the fact of the matter is I'm not, personally attached to September Morn, Bashful Charlotte, or Drape Lady. They were a learning tool, and happy to sell them. And that's what's going to happen tonight.
Well, it's funny because like there's nothing more annoying than a pedantic person, but when you get a lot of pedantic people together, it's fun because then we can really nitpick and say, no, here's why it's Bashful Charlotte. Here's why it's the Draped Lady. Otherwise.
Oh, NC Coast fans must know the song, saying there's a song September Morn now stuck in their head. Well, you were right. It was everywhere. Like I said, I don't remember who the artist was, but it was in magazines. You could cut out the picture and hang it on your wall. Everywhere. You could, get it, everything. You could do craft projects, needle points made from it. And even the September Morn version that I have was called September Morn. Actually, I guess it was Bashful Charlotte came as a result of Fenton's September Morn. So they did it and it looked too similar. So they had to make sure it came up with a different name. So it became became Bashful Charlotte. And then a European company did September Morn. So they were everywhere. And I personally like some of the European glassmakers better than the American glassmakers. I know that's horrible to say, but sometimes it was because that research was harder. There's not as much out there on it and it wasn't documented as well. So it's like, it's harder to find examples. And then when you find them, it was really exciting. So
I think I had an English example that I might have sold to you.
It was a pair of lovebirds, and I'm keeping that one as well.
They were on Art Deco rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Wonderful.
Yep, that's definitely. And actually, that one's funny because most of them I just display as they're on their own, because once you put the bowl with them, they just get big. And I had a ledge. For people that saw my pictures, I had a ledge, and these fit very nicely on the ledge. The bowls you couldn't do, so I had some with bowls, some without. And the lovebirds that you sold me did not have a bowl, but I had a bowl in the matching color that I stripped out one of the flower frogs that I had that, and I put the lovebirds into that bowl so that I will keep that bowl. So the bowls were always interchangeable. It was, you could buy the bowl and never have a flower frog. It was just a centerpiece bowl. But tonight I will be selling them all bowlless simply because they're easier to ship. I don't want to deal with having to ship those bowls.
Yeah, it's funny because in this business, we're always, when you see things, I'm always thinking 12 by 12 by 12, 12 by 12 by 12. So it's like, if something is 12 inches in diameter, you can't put it in a 12 by 12 by 12 box. It has to be a 16 by 16 by 6, whatever, and then I'm like, so I understand that completely. Well, Patrick, we have 267 folk. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on Thursday night. I'm so glad you're here. I ship from Southern New Jersey, and I'll do my invoices either tonight, if I still have energy, or tomorrow morning. And pirate ship, all that stuff. I think everybody knows that. I'm going to ask folks in the chat, and we love folks in the chat, but if you will kindly allow our moderators with the blue wrench, please let them. Now, Patrick, you and I will do our starts and stops.
Yes.
Okay. If everyone else will allow the actual wrenched moderators to sort of handle the tricky business, that really helps. It keeps it moving, it keeps us on task, and helps with some confusion. Why don't we get started?
All right.
I thought.
And really quick note for me, I ship out of Chicago, or outside. I'm outside Chicago. So, and then for those of you who purchased from me from our sale earlier this week, I did hold those boxes just in case, and I'll redo those invoices with a combined shipping if it works out best. If you happen to buy anything from me tonight, so I am going to start out with the infamous. And if you saw my preview video, I did talk about this, and I've done videos about this in the past. So these are little pop quizzes for anyone who's not watched the preview videos. What is the name of this individual item? And I just rambled it off a little bit ago. It's one of three names. Is it Bashful Charlotte? Is it the Draped Lady? Or is it September Morn? And, you know, and everyone, there are people that are going to, you know, want to argue or say, no, I know it's true because my grandmother had one. I'm going to base a lot of my research comes from this book. I sold a lot of my reference books, but I kept these for good reason because I want to sell these. But the KP came in with the correct answer first. It is the Draped Lady. And if you look really close, you can see this is the clear version. She is clasping something to her chest. And you can see as it goes down, there's a towel that is covering her up. So that's why she gets the name Bashful Charlotte, because it makes sense. But this one is actually Draped Lady. And this is the first one I'm going to sell. This is from Cambridge. It is a $25 start. So I researched all of these and I'm trying to start them at reasonable pricing. But because it's clear, these don't go for as much as some of the other ones. So I'm going to start this one off at 25 to just get things started. She is Cambridge. Okay. Yes. Yep. If you put that in for him, Scott.
25. Yep.
And then we did talk about this really briefly. Scott mentioned it. Cambridge, when they went out of business, sold their molds, and Imperial, when they started reissuing them in the 60s, they started doing ribbed bases. This one still has, easier to see it from the side, this one still has the smooth. So this is an original from the original molds. The later ones don't necessarily make it any less valuable. I do like having them, you know, knowing it's a little bit older, but its condition is everything, and she is in absolutely pristine condition. She was, sometimes people are interested in this. If you look, they did fire polish the sides, but there's still a couple places where you can see it. This appears to have been a 3-piece mold because there's a seam here, and another seam here. So it wasn't just 2 pieces closed together. It had 3 pieces, which allowed them to do a lot more detail. And she is absolutely beautiful. So I see a bunch of people came in at 25. Heidi jumped it up to 50. And thank you so much for that, Heidi. I don't want to spend too much time going through these, so we will be doing our traditional countdown. So if you want to wait till the last minute, you're more than welcome to do so. But once we hit stop, that is what's going to rule the roost. Anything that only those that count before. So again, I think I said she's 8.5 inches tall, which was the most popular, and she's also 10 hole, which is the most common. I do have a couple, one that's a 12 hole, but this one is 10. So standard size, clear, perfect condition. And I will go ahead and start counting this one down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And now I've got to make my own notes to make sure I can keep track of who bought which one, because these are all very similar. And I will have another Draped Lady coming up later in the sale that I showed in the preview that is in the blue color.
Okay, it's in, and it looks maybe Heidi Esther home at 60.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Heidi. I will pack her up well and make sure she gets safely to your place.
Okay, I'm trying not to get myself tangled up in extension cords. What I've got
would be bad when you're dealing with glass.
It would not be well. This will start at $19, and I'm going to bring the only piece of EAPG that I have tonight, we don't want to forget the beautiful old EAPG. It starts at $19 and there are no chips or cracks on it. This one, Karen and I, when we were trying to find this, it stumped us. And I think, Karen, you'll have to remind me, I think we finally agreed that it was a piece of McKee. Now, a lot of times people think of the McKee glass, of the Depression glass, but McKee was around for much way before the 1930s. And it is a 7-inch tall by 9. So 7 by 9. It's a nice size. It starts at 19. It's chip.
Karen's got you at 25.
It's chip and crack free.
Which is pretty amazing considering all the little nips at the top there. When those scallops, those get chipped off.
They do. And this one, being EAPG, is not as prone to chipping as the American Brilliant. American Brilliant, it just, oh my gosh, it is so easy to chip it. And I think I love the stepped base here and all this fancy pantsy stuff down here at the foot around the bottom. So it's pressed glass. Probably not from the 1890s, but more the 1910. We're getting into the early 1900s on this piece, if I remember correctly. And I do think that Karen and I finally settled on McKee for the piece. Pretty. There's no lead in it, so it's heavy, but because it's thick, but no lead content. I'll count this lovely piece down, and here we go. The high bid right now, I think, is 25 on this piece. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Because I think I remember there was like Daddy McKee and then the sons of Daddy McKee. And then there was, they might have gotten sucked up into the combine and then came back out of it and regrouped again. It's all up in here, but I can't remember. But anyway, that's what that is.
All right, let me refresh really quick because it looks like somebody came in right at the end.
I will get us.
And I do see Karen Taylor snuck in before the stop at $27.
Karen Taylor has it at 27.
Correct.
Karen, thank you. I need to write that down and then put Patrick's start in and then flip him over. So it was 27. Patrick, start talking. Hold up. It was Karen Taylor,
okay.
27.
Karen Taylor, 27.
Okay. I will put the start in. Okay. Thank you, Karen.
All right. So I'm going to stick with the draped lady. I only have 2 draped ladies examples. We're going to keep them back to back to start things off because this is the other one. And this one is blue. And because of that, this one is a $50 start, 50. All right, $50 start. So this one is, I picked this up at the Chicago Glass Collectors show. And this is, again, one of those things that sent me down the rabbit hole of research because at the time I didn't know about the ribbed base. So I bought this from a dealer who said it was from the 20s. And I was all excited because I knew about the draped lady and I knew that that's when they were introduced. Fantastic. And then I learned about the ribbed base. Again, just because it's the ribbed base doesn't make it's just because it's later, doesn't make it less valuable because of the color. It makes it more desirable. But I did feel like I was misled in the purchase. So I always make sure that that's one of those things. It's a very easy way to tell when you see the ribbed base, it's going to be later. There is some evidence that that Cambridge did introduce a clear version of a couple models with the ribbed base at the very, very end, but a couple people challenged that and say that that was really just a crossover with the inventory. But regardless, it is still the draped lady. It's still in perfect condition. It's still 8.5 inches tall, and it's still the 10 hole. But you can see it's a little bit easier on the side. You can see there's like the little rounded edges on that. So it does give it kind of a cool design to it. So it's very attractive. And it's the only ice blue color that I had. It's one of those weird things that when I had my swung glass, I also had a couple that were in this color, and like one was almost more of a cobalt color. And because I have them in the windows, one is south facing and one is west facing, I got a lot of sun. The blue would come into the room, and my room is in burgundies and ambers, and the blue never really fit all that well. So I hid her kind of in the corner so the sun didn't shine quite as much through her. So you do what you have to do to make it work. But as a result, it's the only blue one I have in my collection. So it's obviously the only blue one I'm selling in the sale tonight. But again, we have, we're going to try not to demonetize Scott's channel, but we have a bare buttocks of the draped lady. With that lovely cropped haircut, because it was the model, or the mold was introduced in the 20s, 30s, when that would have been the popular hairstyle. I see a couple of bids that have come in, so I'm going to go and start counting it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And this one will be easier to keep track of because it's the only blue lady I got. I'll wait for Scott to watch for the lag and put in who gets this one.
There we are.
Ooh, a lot of activity at the end, so I'll let Scott and the moderators make the final decision.
I'm going to wait and see. I'm thinking of the song, I'll have a pink cocktail for a blue lady. Do you know that song?
Oh, I don't think I know that one. I was the only one I know, Blue Christmas.
It may be Jenny at 86. Could I have my two moderators? We've got either Karen or Jeffrey or the Revivists are here, I think. I don't know if anybody else is. Jenny at 86.
All right. Thanks so much, Karen. And thank you, Jenny.
Okie dokie. I've got a pink of pink. I've got a piece of pink. I got a pink of pink stretch glass in excellent condition, and it starts at $30. This is either Fenton or United States glass. Sometimes it's hard to tell. So there were only about 8 or 9 companies in America that were making stretch glass. Again, this starts at $30. It has no condition problems at all. And it is pink stretch glass. We've talked about that before. Most of the companies that made Carnival glass transitioned into stretch glass. Carnival glass is popular first. Stretch glass becomes popular in the late teens, mid-teens, late teens. And it's made even into the 30s. And it's supposed to mimic the fancier glass, Steuben, Arene and Favril by Tiffany. But this was much cheaper glass for people to buy. So it's either
Melody's got you 30.
It may look like, remember, pink is really hard to get you to see on the screen. It always looks like something else. But I promise you, it is a beautiful, beautiful, delicate pink. Pink. It's not amber. And it's 9 inches in diameter. And it stands about 6 inches tall. It's chip and crack free. Take a look at this. So pink glass pressed in a mold. Yeah, they take it out, iridize it, spray it with mineral salts. They put it back in, and sometimes it gets retooled. This is more of an onion skin to the stretch. I think you can really see it here. Sometimes the stretch marks are very pronounced, especially if work was done, if it was bent, if it was while it was hot and they reshaped it. But if they just sprayed it and reheated it, you'll just get that beautiful onion skin. Are you seeing that?
Yes.
Good. You see, you've got the onion skin here, and then here it's clear. That's because they purposefully sprayed the rim, yeah, so that you'd get that onion skin effect around the rim. Then it becomes clear, and then there's more of the onion skin sort of down at the bottom.
It's one of the cases where it looks really cool up front, because from a distance it just looks like it's frosted or something, that it just has a just a general coating. But like you said, like, you can see the detail of what they did to get that little rippling effect.
Yeah.
And onion skin is the perfect term for it, because that's what it seems like.
Yeah. And you get that sort of oil on water. That's the iridescence. Now, if it were just iridescent, it might fall into the carnival glass. But the thing with the stretch is it's not embossed. Rarely do you find embossed stretch glass. Carnival glass, it's almost always embossed, heavily embossed, covered with horseshoes and butterflies and grapes and cables and all of that. With the stretch, they got rid of the embossed patterns, and you just get the beautiful shape of the glass and the iridescence. That's pretty
Now, do
much
you know
it.
when in the manufacturing, was it still kind of, was it still hot when they applied that finish, or was that something that was done after the fact, after they fire polished the seams?
They
When
reheated it.
they reheated it? Okay.
So stretch glass is put in the fire twice. The carnival glass is put in the fire once
Okay.
because
Gotcha.
it's just so anyway. Yes.
It was
So
something
they
I never felt comfortable with, so I always steered clear of it because I just didn't know enough to even buy it to resell. So I left that in your hands.
well, it's beautiful, and we're going to count it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it.
Yeah, waiting for your fingers to go up.
Now I'm going to put it right back where it was.
There they are. And stop. Whoops, stop. All right, it looks like Melody Morris at $30.
Melody Morris. Got it. Melody Morris. Thank you, Melody. I am going to give it back to Patrick, and I'm going to go turn on another light.
Getting dark. All right, I'll catch you with my start.
Yep.
This one is a $65 start. So
Let me get that.
6.5.
Okay.
So now what we're moving into is
Got it.
either two kids or kid with kid. And if you look really closely, it's not particularly an original name because you can see what's standing up next to the figure is a goat. And class, what do we call a baby goat? We call it a kid. So we've got two kids. So whether this is a woman or a child is another question. It somewhat has the bare bottom similar to Draped Lady. So there is some argument that maybe the Draped Lady is actually a child, but that's somewhat disturbing that people would be putting that on their shelves. So we're going to say it's two kids, but that's actually a full-grown woman who just loves her goats. So this one is, and this is a perfect example of what Scott was saying. So what I'm going to do is, for contrast, do not get confused. For contrast, this is the pink/peach color. This is the amber. So just to kind of give a frame of reference, and then comparing it to pink satin glass, that's this. So you can see it's got the same pink, but it's not satin, it's clear. So this is a beautiful piece. It's slightly larger than the Draped Lady. This is 9 inches tall. It is still a 10 hole. So that's fairly standard, and it's the same standard height base. I do have a couple that have shorter or taller bases. So this is somewhat of a standard. And this again is Cambridge. That's kind of one of the themes I decided what I was selling was the American glass companies just don't bring me as much joy as some of the other ones. So you're getting a lot of Cambridge tonight. But you can see, it's just this. I always find it interesting how then they have to design these things because it doesn't have the finish like the onion skin did, but you still have to be able to make this in a mold and form it. So they straddled her legs a little bit, but then made, and hopefully you can kind of see it. There's a tree trunk here. There's no reason for this to be a tree trunk other than you need to have something to make this solid so it wasn't standing on just these two spindly little legs. So there's a really nice detail to this. The goat itself is standing on kind of like a mound of grass. You know, it's just super, super cool. And yes, all of this is clear. The goat has some fur modeled into it, but it is still clear. It doesn't look as clear as the figure because the figure is clear on both sides. You're just seeing light refracting a little bit more, because you can see the kind of the fur texture was molded into the goat edge. So it looks like there's a finish or something different to her. But it's all still the same glass. I want to make sure we can get through everything. I think I saw a bid come in. So I'm just going ahead and start counting this one down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And I'm sorry, I didn't see NCA thing for a side by side. So, like I said, it's about a half an inch taller, but the buttocks are about the same.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna refresh on that one. Oops, hello. Yeah, hello.
They want to be part of the show.
Yeah, here comes my DoorDash just arrived. No, just kidding. I believe, from what I can see, it might be Karen Taylor at 100.
Okay.
Do you concur with that, my good friends with the wrenches? Okay. There we
Karen
go.
Taylor at 100. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate your moderators helping keep things straight.
Yeah, appreciate that as well. Okay, I have a 6.5 inch tall Lotes vase that starts at 100, and this
Lotes. I love Lotes.
Solo layout.
Lotes.
I hope it's showing up okay with the light out here on the porch. I'm just really loving being out on my porch before it gets, as I said earlier, before it gets stinking hot.
True.
Lotes glass was a quality, was a high-end glass, very sought after, and
very high-end.
Known.
My favorite museum in Chicago. I'm sorry to interrupt, but my favorite museum in Chicago is the Driehaus Museum. It's a decorative arts museum. They have one of the larger collections of Lotes in the country, and the pieces are just amazing.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Hopefully, that gives us a little bit more light. This was introduced. The pattern, the effect that you see on the glass is called oceanic, and it was introduced in 1904. Lotes actually won awards. I wish that dog would stop. They were at the St. Louis World's Fair, among other places. And again, 6.5 inches tall, no chips or cracks on it. This is
actually started at 100. Does it have an iridescence to that one?
Yes.
I can't quite tell. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yep.
Sorry.
No.
Lotes glass, if you'll look very carefully here at the ground pontil, this is clear, absolutely clear. The oceanic pattern always starts out as clear glass, right? It's gathered, yeah, rolled in little granule pieces of blue and green. And then this blue, the little granule blue and green pieces, you can see it. That's what gives it the look of the ocean. Now, there were several different shapes, but they all had this blue and green. That's what makes it the oceanic pattern.
Pennsylvania Buzzard is asking where Lotes originated. I was thinking it was German, or is it Czech?
It's Austria, Hungarian, Bohemian. It's in that weird area.
Okay, yeah.
So, you'll see, I think in one of my videos, I said Hungarian, and another one I said Austria, and another one Czech.
Well, in that area, you're right, it's like Austro-Hungary, the whole empire. They were before World War I.
It's all before World War I, and it was all right in that area. And then the factory closed in 1939. The Germans invaded Poland. That was the end of that. So Lotes was, but Lotes had problems. They had Art Deco. They were great with their Nouveau, but they didn't shift into the Deco, and they actually had bankruptcy. But there was some money pumped in, and the factory kept going until 1939, and then that was the end of it. 6.5 inches tall. I forget what else I was going to tell you about it. It is not signed. It's not supposed to be. Actually, I'm glad it's not. Watch out for signatures. They're faked all the time. A lot of glass that's sold at auction and peddled as Lotes is not Lotes. Sometimes it's signed, sometimes it ain't. It seems to be that most of the glass that was to be kept in Europe wasn't signed. If it was meant for export, a lot of times it's signed, but some of the scholarship differs on that. And I did a lot of reading about that and studying on it and looking in my art glass books. But it is authentic oceanic Lotes. The pattern was introduced in 1904. Without further blah, 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 unless anyone has any questions, I will give you just a second to see if you have any questions, and then we'll count it down. But you can see the clear right there where that's the ground console. 10. Oh, good grief. I'm getting ready to throw things on the floor again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. I had one other piece of Lotes, and I bought it at a yard sale 30 years ago for $1. I don't have it anymore. I sold it a long, long, long time ago.
All right, let me refresh really quick.
Let's get back to the regular layout. There we go. Okay, where's my pen? Here it is.
Oops. All right, looks like Jenny Mack was sneaking in at the end, and she got Jenny Mack got it for 206.
Jenny, thank you. I understand. Jenny, thank you, Jenny. Thank you, everyone who bid. Jenny, I think you collect Lotes. I think I heard that you said that. So I'm thrilled. I hope it's your first piece of oceanic, and I hope that you love it as much as I do. Thank you, everyone who placed bids. It's now time to go back to Patrick. Jenny, thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to do another Cambridge piece.
Okay, let me get.
Okay. And this one's going back to 8.5 inches tall. This is also a $65 start. And this was also in my preview. This is the Amber Rose Lady. So because there was a request earlier, we'll go ahead and put them side by side. You can see the two kids is a little bit taller. The woman in this one is fully clothed. So although they, colloquially get referred to as the nudes and the nude ladies and whatever, this one you can see is fully robed and probably at least married, if not older, because her hair is in a bun. And then she is carrying either a basket or a bunch of roses. It looks like apples to me, but it is a bouquet or a basket of roses. So this one is the amber color. So again, for comparison, we've got the clear, and then we have the pink. So you can kind of see the difference in the color. So this is for the amber, and this is for the Rose Lady. Now, just because the way glass was manufactured back then, there were no condition issues. But if I can get her to focus in, there are a couple of air bubbles in her skirt, but they're on the interior, not on the exterior. So nothing popped in the surface. If they popped in the surface, you can see one there. It would have been considered a second. Since this is in the center, it would have been sold as a first premium. Same thing. This is the original mold. This is also a 10 hole, and the size of the base is standard for this size. This one, some of the ones I've sold have a lot more history. This one, I didn't find as much history out there, considering it was Cambridge. There's a lot of Cambridge out there. This one I didn't find as much. So I don't know if she was not sold for as long as the others. I didn't have the dates of manufacturing. She is in the Flower Frog book, but they didn't have the specifics of when this particular one came out. But she's beautiful, and I was always leaning toward the amber. So found she's attractive. It looks like a couple prices came in. So I will go ahead and start counting this one down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And I will let Scott watch for the lag. And the one nice thing about shipping these, particularly without the bowls, is they're heavy, but they're also solid. So no issues with No condition issues in shipping. We should have no problems.
This one may be Roxanne S at 100. I'm going to refresh and I will back up and call it for you.
Okay, thank you.
Roxanne S. Let me just back up and see. I don't know if anyone came in any higher than that prior. No, I think that's right. So I see Roxanne S. At
Okay,
100.
excellent. And thank you, Revive It Sisters, for confirming that, and Karen, and Jeffrey. Excellent. I was trying to refresh myself. Ooh, pretty color. Oh, you muted yourself, Scott.
This beautiful cranberry, a 12.5-inch vase, starts at $30.
30. Okay.
Let me measure it again. It has no chips or cracks. 11.5, just shy of 12 inches tall. Oh, it's so pretty.
That's a good size.
It's a big.
That's a big boy.
It's a big cranberry. Look, there's the ruler.
Give yourself full screen again.
Oh, good heavens, Miss Sakimoto, you're beautiful.
There you go.
It wouldn't be. You got to get an '80s song lyric in there. It's not ruby flashed. It's cranberry. It's crimped and it is unsigned. It has a polished pontil, and I don't know the exact maker. Please, please. I didn't call this Fenton. A bunch of other people did. I don't believe that it is Fenton. And you know me, if I don't know exactly who made it, I am not going to just throw names out to throw names. And we all know there's Fenton and Pilgrim, and there's the Canadian company, and there's probably half a dozen other companies that made cranberry. And I just couldn't figure out exactly who it was. But I do know it's a beautiful.
It doesn't matter. It's gorgeous.
Isn't it, though? So it may be contemporary. I just am not sure. But I'm going to offer it as a beautiful decorative piece of cranberry glass at almost 12 inches tall.
On the ribbing on the side, the fluting on the side, does it do something about halfway down? Does it change width or something? It's doing something in the light. I don't know if it's just a refract of the glass or if it's... Are the ribs uniform going all the way up?
They are uniform. It's got my fingerprints.
It must just be the way the light was hitting it. It looked like they were kind of double thickness at the bottom. That's gorgeous.
Probably the way the light is hitting it.
Yeah. No, it's easier on the inside. You can see it's all straight.
Yeah. So the bottom is completely polished. And I know the different companies, some had a polished bottom and some didn't. And so
Cat Givens got you at 35.
As a beautiful piece of decorative glass in cranberry, I love it. And I wish I could tell you exactly who the maker is, but I can't, so I'm not going to mislead anybody. Yeah, it's thick. I mean, it's not, some of the cranberry glass is really thin. It's thick, and since it was blown in a mold, and tooled and everything, but it's it's handmade glass, and so it's really all, there's no difference to the ribs as it goes from the top to the bottom. I don't really know what else to say about it, so I guess I'll count it down. Does anybody have any questions?
I didn't see any.
All right. Well, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. On the 11.5-inch cranberry.
All right, just so your fingers come up.
Oh, now you get back here and you behave with Mr. Lotes, okay? No mingling.
All right, let me refresh because I think somebody came in right at the last minute.
Okie doke. Was it Jan Marie?
I see Jan Marie at 57 just before the stop. And Jeffrey concurs.
Jan Marie, and that's my hun. Okay, I always put Jen Marie, thank you. And thank you everyone who placed bids on that. I appreciate it. Let's go get Patrick. There he is.
All right. Wasn't sure the best way to do this, so I right or wrong. What I'm doing is I put all the Cambridge pieces together. So this is my last piece of Cambridge. I still have some other flower frogs that are European. I'll do later, but I'll break it up after this. This is a $35 start.
Okay.
And for those who joined us later, your second chance for pop quiz. This is not the draped lady. This one is the true bashful Charlotte. And the name is appropriate. So this is also bare bottomed. Kind of hold it the right way and kind of see the glare there. So this one is holding a towel, but it's way down at her legs. So not nearly as effective. So she is holding herself with a hand across her chest and another across her lower section, holding that towel. So truly, she is bashful Charlotte. The hair on this one is a little bit fuller at the top, but it still seems to be a bob cut. So again, making it from the time of 20s, 30s. And again, this is clear from Cambridge. So it's a little bit shorter than the other ones. This one is 6.5 inches tall. So I will just hold it against the other clear draped lady for comparison. So you can see the base is a little bit lower because her size is a little bit smaller. So she's just a little bit proportional to the base. And then height-wise, you can see a couple inches difference on that. The easiest way to tell from a distance, at least from the draped lady to the bashful Charlotte, is that she's bent forward a lot more. The draped lady is standing pretty much straight upright. If you look at the profile, draped lady is straight upright. Bashful Charlotte has a bend. So those are the two. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is only an 8-hole frog because she is a little bit smaller than the other ones. And this is the one KP just mentioned how much it looks like September Morn. This was the one that Cambridge issued after Fenton issued their September Morn. So it did kind of come from that, but because Fenton called theirs September Morn, Cambridge called theirs Bashful Charlotte. So there is a similarity, and I will show in comparison because you also get that profile. This is September Morn. So you can see they're very similarly shaped. The biggest difference, and she will be coming up for sale later, September Morn is wearing a dress. You can see the bottom, at least of her bloomers, if not her short skirt, and you can see the neckline on her top. So again, these are typically called naked ladies or the nudes or glass nudes or whatever, because that's what gets clicks. She's not nude. So this is September Morn, but you can see there's a lot of similarity between the two. So I am selling Bashful Charlotte, and this is the true Bashful Charlotte. So I do see a bid came in, so we're going to go and start counting this one down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And those are all 5 of my Cambridge pieces.
There you go.
All right. I see a bunch came in right at the end.
Melody Morris at 30. Oh, wait a minute. Where's my... No. I'm sorry. Old Hadley Vintage at 40.
All right. If one of the other moderators can confirm that, since Jeffrey be a little bit biased.
Right. Let's let the moderators confirm it. That keeps us.
And they are confirming that.
Okay.
Jeffrey, I see myself. And this is probably worth noting because I don't think it's ever happened where I've sold to one of the moderators. Scott and I can see things in advance. We see things. That's why we have to wait for the lag. The moderators don't. The moderators are seeing it at the same time you guys are seeing it. So there's no foul play or anybody's getting any sort of advanced notification. So congratulations, Jeffrey. Really glad this is going to go to a good home. I hope you enjoy it.
Very good. My next piece starts at $19, and this is so pretty. I think it's a contemporary piece of Mikasa. I'm not really sure. Look at that. It's so pretty. It's peach. It's a basket. Oh my gosh, it's got some opalescence to it. Um, it's not marked or anything, and I'm not very familiar with Mikasa. I did a quick search for it. You know, I have to tell you, as you know, because I do this full time, I just go through hundreds of pieces of glass a week. If I had a research assistant, which you know, you might say, well, Karen does that for you, and she is invaluable, and she helps so much. And I try not to overload her. I just can't get to everything. That's okay. It's a beautiful piece of glass. I do think it's contemporary, and it might be a piece of Mikasa. It's got a glass handle with some stippling on it. It's sort of peachy pinky with, did I say opalescent? Is that what I meant? I think that's what I said. I think that's what I mean. You can see there's the white, and then there's the peach as well. Pretty for, well, any time of year. I was going to say Easter, but heck, that's so pretty. You could put it with any type of piece of glass.
It's not cased glass, though, is it? It's just
It is
the actual.
not cased.
Okay.
No. And it is thick.
That's what I was wondering. Is like it looks really thick, but it doesn't look cased.
It is not cased, and it is thick. It is beautiful glass. Now,
Sherry got you started. Sharon's got you up to 22.
I think it's beautiful. It has no chips or cracks on it. And when I saw it, I said, I don't care what it is. It's a beautiful decorative piece of glass. And it stands 8 inches tall, and the basket is 7 inches across. Very heavy.
You said that right after Flower Cottage BA says looks heavy. Perfect timing.
It is heavy. It is heavy. And it's pretty. The colors are so beautiful. It reminds me of some of the peach opalescent stuff that some of the other, it's more peachy than pinky. I guess I should keep it in the screen, right? Okay. Why not count it down? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. Now you can see Patrick and I don't pussyfoot around, do we? We are here to sell some glass. We're all about the business. That's kind of the way we run things. We want to bring beautiful items to you and just keep the ball rolling. So I know we go fast. That's the reason why, we try to do previews. Can't always do it, but.
Right.
And it's not that we don't want to engage with you, everyone. Please don't think that. But when we get a lot of people in here, we have a lot of glass to sell. You're here for the glass, not to hear us run our lips.
I just refreshed, and it looks like Sherry got in at 32.
Is it Sherry Craddock?
Yes, Sherry Craddock. And yes, Revive It says the same.
Sherry, that's going to look pretty next to your blue Hazel Atlas fish. Thank you, everyone, for your bids. I appreciate that. Patrick, it's back to you.
All right. And I want to thank the viewers and everyone who does watch the previews, because that helped me get some identification on this piece, which I'm starting at $10. This does come from my private collection. It was basically just a flower vase for the rare cases where I had flowers. But I have so many vases, I don't need this one anymore. So I posted this one, and when I originally did the research on it, and do you have, yeah, you do. So $10 start. When I originally did it, it came up fairly quickly that it is Thistle Panel by Higby. But when I started then cross-referencing, because, just because on the internet it can't be true, it doesn't even mean it's true. So I started cross-referencing to try and find what I could find by Higby. And I found this design, but I found it where the top of the vase like kind of started cupping more like a thistle, and I could not find this one. And so it bothered me. I'm like, is it a reproduction? Is it, did they buy the molds later and they didn't do the flaring? And thank you so much to both Karen and KP. They gave me a lot of notes on some of the stuff that I posted. KP did my favorite thing. She found the production sheet of Higby to list this item with that flare, but then also exactly like this. And it was the Delta pattern, and it was introduced in 1911. So not sure, when this particular was produced. I don't know when it ended, but I love the thistles on this, and I love it's not scalloping. Just the sawtooth, I guess, on the top. It's just great. Flowers look fantastic in it. It has an oval entrance, and that's what I really liked about this one, is it could take a relatively modest bouquet and let it fill out a little bit without them all when you get too big of a mouth on your vase, they all just kind of flare out and you look like you were too cheap to buy bigger flowers. So this held a really nice size bouquet, like a modest size bouquet. So height-wise, to the top of the tallest piece, we're about 9¼ inches tall. Perfect condition. And a little bit simple pattern on the bottom. And then this one we talked about the Cambridge pieces being in 2-part molds. This was evidently a 4-part mold because it has seams on 4 sides. So I'm a little bit surprised on that. I think those all can't be mold marks. So I only see one seam coming up the actual side. So I think it was a 2-part mold. They just molded in these flares. As I was feeling it up, there is a tiny, tiny, tiny flea bite here. So if anyone wants to redo their bid or revoke their bid, I would not be offended because I didn't even know that was there. So, or I would have just closed it right from the beginning. But you really can't see it. So, but it is there. So that's my piece of Higby Delta. So again, thank you to KP and to Karen who helped me identify. I've got another piece of EAPG coming up. So I've got that's EAPG, the regular pressed glass. And I'm going to count it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And I agree, Karen. I think Higby is beautiful, and I don't know much about it. I really did not really get into pressed glass or EAPG that much in my own collections. So this one I bought it because I thought it was pretty. Now I'm selling it.
I believe that might go to the Revive It sisters at 40. And if I would let Jeffrey and Karen give us the yes or the no on that one. So hold tight, everybody, and we'll wait for Jeffrey and Karen to chime in and let us know if it is the... Okay. We're going to...
Lynn confirmed as Revive It, so I think we're going to go with that. But if Jeffrey could verify, and Karen said yes, we're excellent. Thank you so much for picking that up, and thank you for being a moderator tonight as well.
It is 2 minutes after 9. I would like to take this moment, just one moment, we're not going to have an intermission, but I want again to give you my sincere congratulations, Patrick, to your engagement, to your upcoming moving and a new life and a new start. I'm happy for you.
Thank you so much.
I'm happy to say that I knew you right from the start. I love it. Okay, so, and thank you everyone for being here tonight. You can spend your money in many places. You can spend your time in many places. We're so glad to have you here tonight, whether you're buying or watching. You're valuable to us, and we're so glad you're here. I've got a Cambridge mayonnaise set. Look at it. It is so pretty. Got flowers
gorgeous
on it. Oh my gosh. It's missing the spoon. Okay. You can get them. It starts at $25. It's chip free, crack free. And I love this. I've never seen it before. I will show you. And a lot of us certainly know, if you've been watching me, you know what not that I'm the one that's probably knew even before you were watching me what a mayonnaise set is. But here it is. Look at the flowers on it. I don't know this Cambridge etch. I'm familiar with several of the Cambridge etches, but look at the little, whatever they are, not roses, but some kind of flower. And then all the little dots, that's all acid etched on there. So this would be the mayonnaise bowl, compote.
Here's all just an etch. There's no wheel cut or anything in it?
No, not on this. It's all
okay, just etch. Okay.
That's the underpants, as I like to call it. And the Cambridge, the diamond and the C is right there. I don't know whether or not you can see it, but it's right there. So it's marked Cambridge. These would also have a corresponding pink spoon, and the spoons typically didn't have any etch on them. I don't know. They could be gilded, but they were typically the same color. So this would have had a little pink spoon. You can find them. Just go, if you want to get this and then get a pink spoon, you go find one.
Now, I
And we
don't know
all
if it
know
covers for the
if
if it
these were
counts for the mayonnaise sets, but when I visited the Cambridge museum, they mentioned that if you find pieces that are stamped or there's have the logo in that, like that little diamond, that those are on the earlier end because they ended up they had to stop marking them because the housewives were getting upset that
they
their
didn't like it.
glass, you could see it through the glass.
That's right.
So if you've got a mark, that means you've got an early piece.
Yeah. And the company that paid no attention to that was Heisey. I have pieces of Heisey where they marked it 3 times. There are Heisey molds. Heisey wanted you to know. And so you're right. They did not want to see that C on there, especially like on dinner plates. You know,
Yes, exactly.
you're finishing up your meatloaf and you go, what is this, a gnat in the middle of my plate? No. So anyway, it is so pretty. I love this. Again, a mayonnaise set. This is how they were served elegantly at the table. And mayonnaise, or quote unquote salad dressing, we won't get into that. You all know the whole story. If there are no questions about this beautiful pink mayonnaise, I'll count it down. I have mayonnaise bowls this color already, Jenny said. Okay. I love that etch. I'm in love with that etch. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. This would even make a bad sandwich taste good if you could get mayonnaise out of that. And I don't like mayonnaise. I mean, I like it in tuna fish and that kind of thing, but just I'm a mustard because got German blood. So I'm a mustard guy all the way. I'd put mustard in it. You can put anything in that you want. Now, what am I going to do with it? It's fine. I have glass. If you could see, there's just glass everywhere. And I love it.
So just a quick note to Kat Givens, you might need to refresh once you hear this part because you were asking the start price when there had already been some bids. So I think you might be disconnected with the text. So I see Karen Taylor at 45. And so does Jeffrey.
Karen Taylor got the Cambridge Mayo set at 45. Good deal. Karen, I run into those spoons. I will keep my eyes peeled for a pink glass, but I promise you can go find one on the net if you want. But if you need a pink spoon, let me know and I will dig one out somewhere for you. Thank you kindly.
All right, now for something completely different. We were talking about whether that Mikasa-ish bowl was cased. Well, I do have cased. So this is starting at $20, and we've got some Bohemian cased glass cut to amethyst.
Indeed you do.
So we've got this milk glass outer casing, and you can see really well there at the top. They've taken the milk glass and created those little scallops. The inside is all purple.
My pleasure, Karen.
They've taken those scallops and revealed the purple glass underneath. So they did that through those cathedral window cuts there across the side, and then the vertical cuts. And then you've got the cartouche cut on the side. On the sides that are not cut, you've got these beautiful hand-painted floral designs. And as you work your way down, you've got more cathedral cuts and then the gold painted rim at the smallest part of the neck and then also the widest part. And then you've also got small cartouche cuts in the bottom. And then what I really like about this, and you can kind of tell, it's completely curved as you get to the bottom. So, you know, a lot of times it just has a cut off and then it's flat. But because of the way it was cased, it kind of creates this, I think, a sexy curve of when this sits down, you get that angle all the way down. Because it was cased, you can't see any sort of pontil mark or anything like that. So obviously it was molded, but probably blown into the mold, but then covered with the white milk glass coating. I do not deal with these pieces all that much, so cannot really. I wouldn't be able to tell you who the manufacturers were, but the style was, you know, generally, I think is what I want to say. Just referred to as bohemian glass. So we're going to go ahead and see some bids came in. So we're going to go and start counting it. This one down. 10, 9, 8. Oh, and I didn't give the size, so that's valid. About 6 1/4. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And so that means it's got paint on the front and the back, and then the two sides have the cartouche cuts. I'll watch for Scott to find the lag.
It's in, and let me refresh because there are a couple bids came in right at the finish line. And so I'm refreshing. Hold tight, everybody. I see, after hitting refresh, Jenny Mac at $46 before the stop. Roxanne S. and Jan Marie came in after the stop. If I could have my moderators give us the yes on that one, okay? So hold on, everybody. Let's let the moderators go ahead and give us the, because sometimes when it's really tight there, you know. Yeah.
The timestamps were all the same, but it's just got to be what comes in. And I saw it too, and they're all confirming Jenny got it at 46. Congrats, Jenny.
Okie doke. You know what that is, but look at the color of it. Ooh. Okay. This is called vertical. It's got vertical ribs. Now, you know it's Blanco. Okay. It starts at $20. No chips, no cracks. That's the real thing. They're still making these today. West Virginia, they started in the 1930s. And you know why? Why did they start making these? To fit in those narrow Frigidaire shelves. This is a water bottle for the refrigerator. And they specifically had this design to fit in. Can you imagine putting this in a refrigerator? Oh my gosh. But that's how they did it. The nice thing about this piece is that it is acid etched Blanco on the bottom. They're not all. And I think it's dated, but I can't tell. I think, now I know there's a website. You can go and you can look and find out based upon the color. I didn't have an opportunity to do it. I know what it is. You know what it is. But I believe you can tell, again, if you go on the Blanco website, based on the color, its color and whatnot, you can tell what year it's from. But it has a wonderful sort of aqua color, blue color, and it's got these vertical, I don't know whether or not you can see it. That's actually in the glass. It's not an optic, but it's I don't know how they did it, but they did. Chip free, crack free. I think the date on the bottom, if it is a date, is 2015. Now the line, I forget the line, 341, something like that. But again, they've been making these from the mid 30s and they're still pumping them out. That's a beautiful color. And again, because it's signed Blanco, and I guess I can turn it, it's very hard to see it. It's an acid etched, or it may not be, they may actually put it on there with a carving tool. Somebody told me that if you went to the factory and you bought one for $10, they would put the name and the date on the bottom. I don't know about that.
Oh, that's cool. I've never heard that.
Well, and I shouldn't say it because I don't know that that's true. And I don't like throwing information out if I don't know that it's factual. So forget that I said that because I'm not a Blanco guy. But
so Leanne seems to have some research at her fingertips. She says Blanco 384.
384 is the line. Yes, thank you. I knew it started with the 3. So that's the line. That's not the number that's on the bottom of this. Thank you for that. Yep, that's the line. So this might be dated 2015. Don't hold me to it, but it is signed, and I know you can't see it. Blanco, and then it's got a number. I just can't read it. Pretty color. Water bottle made for the refrigerator. That's how it was designed. Lisa Davis has the high bid, I guess, of 25.
That is what I see as well.
Okay, well, you know what that is, so I don't need to blah, blah, blah. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I don't know how that moth got in here. 3, 2, 1. But you better not go after my Argyle socks or I'll have a fit. Or any other, or my wool sports coat. All right, Blanco, get over there. It's a beautiful color. You're going to love that. Whoever you are, let's see who you are.
All right.
It might be Jenny at 46.
I've got Jenny Mac at 46.
Jenny. Jenny, I just put your porch lights in the mail today. The ones that you won Monday night, I mailed them today. Thank you, Jenny, at 46. Thank you, everyone who placed bids. And thank you, Karen, for putting in. Karen said she went to the website and saw that if you paid $10, they would sign it. So I didn't know that. Well, you have a signed Blanco, Jenny.
That is pretty cool.
It is cool. So it is true. Wonderful. Thank you for validating that, Karen. All
okay.
right.
The next piece is actually several pieces. I mentioned it when I did the preview, but I didn't have them within reach, so I didn't show them. These are going to be pieces that came from my booth. So I had some black glass, in one case, black amethyst glass. And so all of this is going to be available, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces with a starting price of $20.
Okay.
And what you get is the underplate, which admittedly is originally a dresser set. You can see there's little molded places to put your powder box and your
Patrick,
perfume box.
may I interrupt you for 1 second?
Absolutely.
Nature calls. I will only be away for 2 minutes, but I am going to invite you to go ahead and sell 1 or 2 pieces just in case I don't.
Okay.
In case I accidentally play with a skeleton key and lock myself in the bathroom again.
Fair warning. All right. Just make a noise when you come back. So I know you're
Okay,
back.
I shall be right back. Thank you, everyone. Sorry if it's too much information, but oh well, we're fast.
So I will watch. I'll do my own stop. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you, dear.
So this originally would have been a dresser set. So they're replaced. But if you flip it over, it's just a plain black countertop. So a platform. So you get that. You get this absolutely adorable elephant ink blotter. So you would take the paper, wrap it around. There's little ledges molded in the front and the bottom. You would take rubber bands or some sort of elastic to hold the paper in place, and you'd be able to blot your ink. I don't think anyone needs an ink blotter anymore, but isn't he adorable? A little elephant ink blotter. You get a pair of sherbets. So they're 2 handled cups. I'm going to say they're sherbet cups, but you can say whatever they are. Don't think they're coffee cups, and they're too tall to be bouillon cups. So I think they're for ice cream. So you get a pair of the black sherbet. And you get the tallest piece is the one that actually, if you hold it up to the light, you're not going to see it here. Thanks, Karen. If you hold it up to the light, I can see that it is actually purple, very dark purple glass. So this is actually black amethyst, but here it just looks black. The other pieces, even held up to a very strong light and sunlight, they still look black. This, you can see it's thin enough you can actually see the purple. So this one you can see on the bottom, it does have a pontil mark. It was not polished, but there are no seams on this one. So if it was blown into a mold, they fire polished the seams really, really well. So, and I'm assuming based on its shape, it was blown into a mold. So it was a high enough end that they fire polished the seams away.
I'm back.
They did not fire polish the actual pontil mark on the bottom. So this one is the one with the purple. So you get that piece, the elephant, the what do we call underpants, the underplate, and the pair of sherbets. And that was for a $20 start. Karen was willing to do my stop. Oh, we do have a bid that came in. So thank you, Jan Marie. I'll go ahead and do a quick countdown for you. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And I think they're a little small. Somebody said cream soup. I think they're a little small for soup. They do look like little mini loving cups, but what do you think, Scott? I said they were sherbet cups.
Oh, hold it up a little bit higher, Patrick, for me. Isn't that Ovid by Hazel Atlas?
I do not know.
I was out of the room. I'm so sorry.
No.
It looks very much like the Ovid pattern by Hazel Atlas. That would not be a cream soup.
Would it be like a dessert cup? Like a sherbet cup?
I don't know what Hazel Atlas called that.
Jan Marie says it looks like a sugar, which is totally fair. And I just happen to have two of them, which is why I never really thought of it being a sugar. But you're right, that'd be about the size of an open sugar. But regardless, whoever gets it can do whatever they want with it. So who do I got?
Yeah, and right. I'm with you on that. And thank you, Karen. You're putting the stop in, right, Karen? You're not waiting for me.
Karen put in the stop.
She did it already. Okay, sweet.
Yeah, and so it looks like I'm confused. It's can't give it to 33. I don't know what Jeffrey's trying to say.
He took it out, so.
Oh, okay.
Cat at 33.
33. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay. Look at this. It's blue and itself again. Okay, I'm back.
Oh, you showed that one Monday. That's gorgeous.
Oh, I know. This blue footed tall compote or comport, if you please, is $30. I can't pinpoint the exact maker. Not a problem. I can tell you this. It's beautiful American glass. It was made in the 20s and 30s. It's very difficult to identify some of this 1920s and 30s glass when it's unmarked and there's no specific name to an etch. It can be a challenge. Remember, those companies were in business to make money, and if a form sold, they copied each other, just like the candy dishes and the mayonnaises and all of that. But this is one of your beautiful American glass companies, and it is a beautiful blue. It's fire polished. And we can, I'm not going to name all those companies, and someone who is really an expert on their 1920s and 30s glass. I'm not an expert, but I know that that's what it is. Look at this pretty acid etched. I don't know, but can you see it? Now, I know it looks gray and it looks silver. It's not gray. It's not silver. That's just the acid etch on the glass.
So gorgeous.
Nothing on here is going to come off. There's no paint. There's nothing applied. It's a beautiful acid etched tall compote, which can be used. This really is a decorative piece and wouldn't be for jams or jellies on the table. Really candy. It stands. Did I say chip and crack free? It's so pretty.
Jerry's got you at 30.
It's 8 inches tall. I went through both volumes of my 1920s, 30s glass. Couldn't find an exact match, but what you will find is you'll find one that looks like this on the United States Glass page, on the Beaumont page, on the Imperial page, the Economy Glass page, all those companies, Liberty Glass, there's a whole lot of them. We always think of Fostoria, Cambridge, but there were so many other glass companies that were producing this beautiful jewel tone, and this is what was popular. The jewel tones were the hit of the 30s and 40s. I'm sorry, of the 20s and 30s. It's funny, though, because when you get into the late 30s, guess what the housewives were going back to? Crystal. This colored glass was going out. So all of that beautiful colored glass that came in the 20s and 30s and when I say housewives, I'm not being, that's who was buying the glass. It wasn't the husbands in most cases. And so the lady of the house, they were leaning more towards crystal, clear glass in that sort of late 30s into the 40s. And a lot of these jewel tone colored pieces, they fell out of popularity. And then you get into the mid-century and the colors change. But you will not be disappointed. It's fire polished and it is a beautiful quality tall, I would say candy dish, in not quite as dark. It's not as dark as a cobalt. It's not the Ritz blue of Hazel Atlas. And I know it's not Hazel Atlas because they didn't do etching like this or fire polishing like this. So we'll count this beautiful piece down, which I love. I bought this in Philadelphia. Not that that makes any difference, but I remember the day I bought it. I told you how tall it was. Across the top, in case you want to know, 8 inches, 8 inches, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. I just love that etch. Now, where were you? Were you up here?
Yes, fingers.
Oh, did I do the finger?
No, you did. I was waiting for them. I said, I saw your finger, so I was doing the countdown. All right. Oh, let me do a refresh because it looks like somebody came in right at the same time. All right. I see Patsy M at 75 because Karen Taylor I see after the stop. But if the moderators can confirm that. Yeah. Revive It Sisters, Patsy at 75.
Patsy, thank you. Thank you, everyone, again, who placed bids on that. You know I appreciate it. And Patrick.
Okay, I'm going to return to another flower frog, and I have one flower frog coming up after this. So I keep referring to this one, so we're going to go ahead and sell this one. So this is the only two-piece frog that I'm including. This is a $50 start, 50. And this is, I'm going to just hold her by herself so she doesn't tip out. This is the famous September Morn. So I did find the note that I had on that. The painting was done in 1911, and it was done by Paul-Émile Chabat, was the artist. So this would be after 1911. But if you, again, look at her hair, look at her clothes, look at the shortness of that dress, we're probably in the 20s. So this piece did a little bit of digging. This is getting into the European glass. You can see she's got a little bit of a moon roundness to her face. But if you compare the detail that goes into the European glass compared to the detail of the Cambridge glass, she barely has facial features. She just has the, hint of a nose, hint of lips, and just little sockets for the eyes. You could create a portrait of what you think this woman looks like. She's got, her entire bone structure is identifiable in the detail of this. And this was Mueller and Company. So this one was also higher end because it was also designed as two pieces. So if you did not want to put her in the bowl to have flowers, you could just set her by herself as a shelf sitter, or you could also have, and you can see, as I mentioned before, they have different size heights of the base. Even though she's the smallest of all of them, she is the tallest base, so she doesn't get lost in the flowers. There is it's a little bit of flea biting right there on the edge, but once she's put into her base, the base itself has no marks on her at all. She's very nicely fire polished, so you don't see the seams going up the sides. The closest remnant is down close to on the base. You can see there's a little era right there, that because it's a satin glass, they did not polish that part down quite as much. But some beautiful draping. Just look at the detail that goes into this one. That, the Cambridge pieces are lovely, but looking at the drape detail on her compared to the draping detail on her, there is no comparison. So she's small but mighty, and she is September Born by Mueller and Company. And I saw some prices come in, so I'm going to go ahead and start counting her down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. And that clears my inventory of the 3 interchangeable ladies: Bashful Charlotte, Draped Lady, and September Morn. She was the only September Morn that I had.
Okay, I've just hit the refresh, and if you'll give me a moment, everybody, I will wait. And I believe I see Jenny Mac at 151.
Fantastic. I know you're going to give her a good home, Jenny. Thank you so much for picking her up.
Jenny, when are you going to do a video tour of your collections? And all of you, not just Jenny, but all of you.
Yeah, we love seeing how our things get presented and put into
God.
displays. I love seeing how people use
so
stuff.
Wonderful. I know, and people send me pictures, and I love it. And I keep saying one of these days I'm going to ask everybody who's bought something. And I did this once before during the holidays. I asked everybody to send me pictures of some holiday decorations that they do, and it was a lot of fun. Let's do that again sometime, Patrick. Let's do it.
Yep.
Starting at $25 is this. And boy, I'm thrilled to pieces to tell you. Now, we went back and $25 is where we start.
Yep.
I was chatting with Karen about this, and we went back and forth on this for several days. We knew that we started off thinking Cambridge. Not Cambridge, Northwood. This is called pear and apple, or apple and pear. Now, it's actually Dugan, and Karen finally nailed it. But we knew that it had to be one or the other. It's intaglio design, and then they called it intaglio. It's this deep cut on the back, as you can see. It's iridescent, but the carnival glass people might not consider it carnival just because it's iridescent. Plum and pear. I'm sorry. What did I say? I don't know what I said. Plum and pear. Apple and pear. Plum and pear. Apple, peaches, pumpkin pie. It's a big iridescent bowl, master bowl. I believe there would be little ones to go with it. And Karen was finally able to nail it down, even though we went back and forth with the Dugan and the Northwood to Dugan. Now, remember, Dugan and Northwood is connected. They were brother-in-law, something like that. They were people. Somebody married somebody. You know how it is with the glass industry. And a lot of times when Karen and I are talking about Northwood, we often say Northwood is the same thing as Dugan. Dugan is the same thing as Northwood. Sort of, there's definitely a relation. But what you've got is a piece of Dugan, which then became diamond. So you'll hear people say Dugan diamond. And it is a thick, heavy piece. Now, this goes back to, I don't know the exact year, but it would be before. There's even a little bit of stretch on it, which I'm just seeing. I'm not going to call this stretch glass, but there's just a little bit of onion skin around here. So that's interesting that I'm just seeing that now. But yeah, I'm just seeing a tiny bit of onion skin. So it's made during the time, we'll say circa 19, I forget what year Dugan became diamond. Either in the teens or the early 20s, something like that. Maybe she can put it in. But it's basically, they had some of the same molds, some of the same designers, and you'll see how thick it is. It is heavy and it's thick. And has the marigold iridescence on it. And I don't know, it's called plum and pear because it's got plums and, or whatever it is, plum and pear, I forget. To me, Northwood and Dugan are the same because of the molds. Yeah, that's that's exactly right. Very intertwined, those two companies. I don't think we have an opening bid on this. We may not. What did I tell you? We're starting out at $25 on the Intaglio Dugan.
Sorry, I muted myself.
Bowl.
It was a $25 start. Rhonda has a bid at 27.
This is a 9-inch across, maybe just a little bit more. About nine and a half.
Sherry's got you up to 30.
Yeah, if I put my hand on it, my spread is exactly 9 inches. So if I go from there to the inner rim, it's just, see there? So 9.5 inches. Very heavy. It's antique. It's 100 years old. It's more than 100 years old because I know Dugan Diamond. Good grief. When did they burn down? 1931? I'm forgetting now, but by the early 30s, they're gone, if I remember correctly. And excuse me if the washing machine is getting things confused. We'll count it down. See just a little bit of onion skin, just a little bit. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. And it took me and Karen days. Now we didn't spend all day for days, but it can take a while to sort through this glass to figure out exactly what it is. And sometimes you just don't have time to try to figure it out. But quality is quality. I mean, you see it and you know it's something good. And that's the thing. Don't be afraid. Don't think, gosh, I don't know any of this. Get out in those thrift shops. Your eye will tell you you got something good and you'll get better at it. I promise you. If I can do it, I know you can. So don't you be intimidated and say, well, I don't know anything. Yes, you do. And it's so much fun. It can be your hobby.
The Rhonda Gentry picked that up for 47.
Thank you, Rhonda. 47 Rhonda Gentry. Okay, I think I talked too long about that.
All good. We are here to learn and have fun.
Rhonda Gentry, 47.
Yes. And Revive It Sisters confirmed.
Thank you.
Okay. The next piece, starting off right from the beginning, is the one piece that actually has damage. So announcing that from the very beginning, I did show this in my preview. I'm selling these two pieces together, and they are together a $15 start, 1-5, because we do have damage on this piece.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
Okay. Patsy comments. Yes, I just finished remodeling my kitchen and now I'm leaving it. But it still looks pretty. Well, so this is thanks to KP and to Karen, who helped do research after I did the posted video. This one is, which I actually knew, but they helped me find some additional details. So this is Richards and Hartley, EAPG. This was introduced in the 1880s. So we're back in the 19th century. And this one is a pickle jar or a marmalade jar. And when it's covered, it looks pretty good. It's called Lion and Cable. And the name isn't, too much of a shock because at the top, you've got this very cool frosted lion. And then around the top of the lid, and then 2 points here at the bottom, you've got the cable design, this kind of like rope kind of design. But when you take off the lid, which has the cabling to it, you can see a couple of flea bites on the bottom of the lid. Not horrible, but definitely have some. Where the damage is here. So you can see the rim has taken some pretty serious hits, possibly from the lid or possibly from metal tongs grabbing things out of here. There's also a mark here, which you can feel from the outside. Originally, I thought it was a straw mark. You can feel it from the outside. It does not come all the way through. So I think it is a straw mark, but it could be a scratch or the start of a crack. but it does not go all the way through. You cannot feel it on the inside. So that, and then you also have the tiny lions on the handles, which I think are adorable. So it's lion and cable, or sometimes called proud lion, sometimes called tiny lion. So you get this piece, and then in perfect condition, you get this. Now, I bought this as is, and I thought it was a spooner based on his height. I didn't think it was tall enough to be a celery glass. When I did a little bit of research, the celery glasses had a scalloped edge to it and maybe were a little bit taller. And so I went looking for this one, and I found, and KP and Karen confirmed, this is a massive covered sugar missing the cover. So it's also lion and cable, because you still have the lion on here and you still got the cable down at the bottom. But what this is supposed to have is a big domed cover with a little lion finial on top, which I do not have. So to me, this is massive for a sugar. What Karen mentioned is that these were reproduced later. And if you compare the quality of the glass, I think this is later. Now, is it later as a reproduction, or is it just later in the line of when they ran this? I do not know. But it technically is incomplete. It does not have the top. Now, I think you could still use this. You could use this as a vase. I mean, it's tall enough. You could do a spill vase on this. You could use it for whatever you want, but it does match the pattern. So I just decided, since this one had such bad condition issues, I just throw this one to sell these two together, since they kind of belong together. But I'm not seeing any bids come in on this.
No, I believe.
Did somebody come in?
I think Karen placed a bid.
Oh, no, you're right. Karen did. There's been so much chat since then, I missed it. So I'll go ahead and count it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop.
Okay, I'm refreshing, and if you'll allow us to call the winner, everyone, I believe it looks like Karen Williams at 25. Revive His Sisters and Jeffrey at Old Hadley Vintage. Could you confirm that for us? Okay, Karen, that's it.
Awesome. And that makes me so happy, because I do appreciate, Karen, you giving me the extra help in doing the research. So I'm glad that you're going to give it a good home. Both of them.
I'm sure she will. My next item starts at $25. It's another mayonnaise set. It is Art Deco. It does not glow. So what? It's green and it's wonderful. This is not a decal. It's all painted. Wait till you see it. Now, that's not the Georgian pattern. It's more of a little bit of a honeycomb pattern, not Georgian. I'm not sure who made this. Again, it's one of the 1920s and 30s glass factories. We can be certain that it's after 1925, because we didn't have design like that in America before the Paris Exposition of 1925. And this
is amazing. An amazing condition, too.
It is. That's the underpants. And that's the actual mayonnaise bowl. This is paint. And the condition of the paint, spot on. Take a look again. Now you see here, again, it's sort of a honeycomb, not really a Georgian pattern. And look at the gold and the black. I hope it's showing up okay. I can't tell if you're really being able to see it or not. I'll try to turn it around slowly for you. So it's green glass. No spoon. Use whatever spoon you want. Go find yourself a green spoon. Yeah. The underplate, same pattern. Everybody made mayonnaise sets. Everybody made cheese and cracker sets. It was the thing. Everybody had to have one. You could not have the ladies over for bridge and serve them sandwiches and put a jar on the table.
Florida Golden Girls got you up at 40.
The better glass companies that did fire polishing and whatnot, they had decorating rooms. And in the decorating rooms, they would sit and do this work all day long. There are variations. Sometimes it's really difficult to tell exactly who the maker was. Roaring 20s, circa 1930 on it. No chips or cracks. I don't know. I'm certain that I'll never have another. The geometry of the deco, we didn't really embrace this in America. The Europeans loved it. The English, there's so much deco in England. The European housewives weren't really into this. You don't see, that's why when you get the depression glass patterns, there are very few that are deco.
That's got such an interesting shape to it. And maybe because I'm in flower frog mold mode. If you were like one of the pin flower frogs, something that would fit at the bottom of that, that would look fantastic with flowers spilling off over the edge of that.
Wouldn't it?
That would just be so cool. That's such a great combination. I can't believe how good that paint looks.
It's wonderful. But I can only think of a handful. More than that, probably 10. I don't know, more than that. But you just don't get the Art Deco design by the American makers like the Europeans. And of course, it started in Europe. And there is a nice little indentation here so that the mayonnaise will fit in it.
I've got one deco piece to show, but you're right, it's European.
Yeah, they embraced it in Europe. We don't get a whole lot of deco. Some of the Bagley deco glass from England. Mm-hmm. The English loved the deco. We just don't. The Americans were meh. But remember, the colonial revival was the rage in this country in the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. Colonial revival was the epitome of good taste, right? Mm-hmm. Deco was modern. It was European.
It was the Chrysler building.
Huh?
It was the Chrysler building.
The Chrysler building. Okay, that's right. But we just don't get deco in the U.S. the way we did in Europe. So we'll count it down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, a 3, a 2, a 1. That's it. And look, a standalone candy dish. Why not? Use it that way. But just for comparison, Americans leaned towards this. Not that. We don't see much of this.
All right, let me refresh because it looks like we had a little fight come in there at the very end. And Karen Taylor gets it for 100.
Karen, thank you. Thank you, everyone who placed bids. I appreciate that. I sound like a broken record. I should just hold up a sign, but I do appreciate it. Thank you, folks. Let's go back to, I don't know what time it is. It's about 10 of. Let's keep going.
Yep.
Keep it going, Patrick.
All right. And I also appreciate everyone that's here tonight and, participating in the chat. I've been learning stuff from each other. This is great. Okay. The next item I've got is a marriage. These two pieces did not start together, but I think they look good together. And I will default that one of them has some damage. It is a $10 start, and I will show it together first. It is a black glass pedestal with a paperweight. So I think they look good together. This is from my personal collection.
Ooh.
This is, so I'm going to separate them off. I'm going to show the damage first. The paperweight, I'm going to assume, is somewhat contemporary. It is got the iridescence, the kind of almost that dichroic blue iridescence that goes into it. And it has this string work that was crisscrossed across it. If you just look at it, it's fine. But if you feel it with your fingers, there is a place. There is a place for us. There is a place where the string work is separated. And literally, I cannot find it, but I know for a fact it's here. I found it as I was getting ready to do the sale again. And if you run your finger across it, you can feel the gap where it was. So again, if you just look at it, you cannot tell. But if you feel it, and that's really what sometimes you have to do with glass, is you have to feel it. There is a little bit of a mark there. So very big and everything needs to be perfect. But even in my case, I thought this was so cool. I just kept it in my collection. You can see the pontil from where this was blown. It has not been polished. It's very, very rough. And you can kind of tell it's, let's see, convex, concave. It's kind of convex so that it doesn't interfere with this being able to sit flat. What I paired it with is a black glass pedestal that I truly don't know what this was for. I don't know if any of the glass experts have anything. It has these birds. I think they're birds. They kind of like, now I'm looking at them in profile, they look like seals, but I'm pretty sure they're birds. Looking up on this platform that has a concave setting to it. It would be perfect to hold a globe. That appears to be what this is designed to hold, something spherical, like a crystal ball or something perfectly round. What would it be? I don't know what this would have been designed to hold. It may have been designed to hold a globe. I mean, it's entirely possible. I think this, this could look great on a desk. It does have the mold marks along the seam of the birds on either side, and then you can feel the seam across the top where the cap goes. No pontil, no mold, nothing on the bottom, no maker's mark, no indication of who made this or its age. But it is black glass. And again, holding it up, goldfish bowl would be cool. Goldfish bowls typically they were flat on the bottom because most people would put them. So if you could find a truly spherical, that would actually be pretty cool. And the birds are looking up at the goldfish. That's kind of a neat idea, but I could not find it. I couldn't identify it. I couldn't cross-reference with anything. Yeah, you could definitely use it for incense cones for current, but it's big. Like that'd be a massive incense cone. And if you had, which I did not, they do sell spherical candles. So if you could find one that's the right diameter, it could just be a candle holder. But I don't think that's what this would have been made for. Like I do think there's age to this. So anyway, the paperwork is not signed. Thank you, Jenny. I should have clarified that. I do not see any indication on this. There's a little bit of a polishing mark here. So where I think they were making it flat. And you can see the pontil, but beyond that, no, I did not find a signature. I see something kind of like, if you look really close, it looks like that might be a trident or something, but I think that's just an accident. I don't think that's an actual pressed mark. I couldn't cross-reference that to anything. So I don't think it's intentional, but that's the only like close to identifying mark on the bottom, but it's just where the pontil was. So that was it. And like I said, so I put them together. They do not need to stay together, but I thought they looked kind of cool. And there is some translucence to the glass of the paperweight. I can see the cobalt color coming through because I've got this bright light facing me. So it's pretty cool. And I see some bits, so I was going kind of down. So I've got one, and if we have time, 2 items left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. That's made me nervous since I moved it off of its original holding place because It sits nicely on there, but it doesn't nestle in it. So I like not keeping them on top of each other while I pull them to the side.
Your winner is Jenny Mac at 41.
All right.
I've only got one item left, and then the rest of the evening belongs to Patrick. I've got 6 plates, yellow fire polished depression glass plates, not amber, but actual yellow. They're wheel cut. They measure 7.5 inches. Perfect for dessert. Let's call them dessert plates. But if you're trying to cut back on calories, maybe it's dinner.
Did you say the start?
They start at, I did not. They start at $20.
Okay. Entirely possible I missed it, but I wanted to make sure
I didn't say it.
Okay.
They do not have utensil marks. They're yellow. They're 7.5 inches, and there's 6 of them. And it's actual yellow. It reminds me of the beautiful yellow that Fostoria did, but I'm not saying that they are Fostoria. Many companies did a beautiful yellow color that they did not call topaz, but so we're not amber here. 7.5 inches are the plates. And again, they have a wheel cut design. That's not acid etched, but it's wheel cut. They have ground and polished bottoms, which is here. So this falls into the category, as you know, of what collectors call elegant depression glass. So you got the cheap stuff, movie theaters, gas stations, giveaway, soap boxes. Then you've got department store glass, gift shop glass, Macy's, Neiman Marcus, that kind of thing. That's what this is. So this would be one of the nice companies, Fostoria, Cambridge, blah, 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 blah. Yellow plates, actual yellow depression glass is one of the colors that I don't find as much as the green, the pink, and so forth, the amber, the crystal. So I know you're looking at them this way because I really want you to see that they're yellow. And when you just look at one, it's kind of hard to tell. But there's the pretty etch. I'll put them down and just let you see the one again, and then I'll count them down. See, when you hold up
Minter has you up to 27.
When you hold up one, it looks like crystal, doesn't it? I mean, it looks clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I had them all together. But you've got yellow glass here, beautiful yellow glass. 10. Chip-free, crack-free, and I don't see utensil marks. But remember, you're back in the 1930s. It's hard to believe that this depression glass is almost antique. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's it. That's it for me. I'm going to put these down, see who our winner is, and the rest of the evening belongs to Patrick.
All right, fingers are up. 3, 2, 1, and stop. All right, let me refresh because a couple of people came in at the very end. Oops. All right, I'm seeing M.L. Minter at 41 before the stop.
Thank you, M.L. Minter. I think I know all of our winners tonight. I believe I have everybody's information already. I might pump the invoices out tonight. I might go fold the laundry and go to bed and do them tomorrow morning. Thank you. I'll say my thank yous and good nights later. But Patrick, I'm not rushing you. You sell as
No,
much.
no. I've just got one item left.
Oh, come on, go get some more. They want more from you.
All right. Well, I have one other on the side just in case we get there. So, but I'll
Go,
finish what
go
I
get
will
it.
officially finish with my last. Oop, should have meant dust her a little bit better.
Thank you, ML Mentor. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So this is my last, and then here's my email address. So when I'm on the screen, you can see mine. So this is the last flower frog that I have this evening. I do have one other piece of Fenton that I can sell, but this is the last flower frog. And this is what I had mentioned to Scott. Oh, I'm sorry. This is a $75 start. Again, we're getting into European glass, higher quality, less availability, and freaking gorgeous. So this was the one I mentioned that I had a piece of deco, and there you go.
Oh, yes.
You've got that chevron pattern right there around the bottom. You can see there's a tiny little flea bite right there on the edge. So just be aware of that. But where the figure is perfection. So we've got, this is Libokovic. I do not speak Czech. I do not know the geography. The company itself was founded in 1912, but you don't need to know that to know that this would be coming out from during the 20s. So this is a satin clear or a frosted. So in comparison, this is the satin clear. This is clear. So you can kind of see the difference between the two. This one is about 8.5 inches tall. And again, she's fully clothed. You can see she's actually in this one actually shows movement. She's walking, and you can see that her skirt is clearly visible. So again, colloquially, they get referred to as nude ladies and glass nudes and whatever, because that's, the sexy term. She is fully clothed. There's no question about it. She is simple elegance personified. She's got that lovely little flapper haircut, the bobbed hair. Even in Europe, she just doesn't have the short dress because she's working in the fields. Probably she's probably collecting her bouquet of flowers. I do not have a name for this one. I could not find anything that actually referenced her specifically. But she's absolutely gorgeous. She's got a really big base compared to the other ones. Like this is pretty much the same height, and this base fits inside the other base. So it's got a really nice presence. Fits in what these tend to do, which again is somewhat unique to the European ones that I have. You then need wider bowls to hold them because otherwise they don't sit at the base of the bowl as easily as the little ones. But she is striking. And again, just some great detail. You can see the neckline, the back of her dress. And unlike the American ones, you can see her facial features. I mean, you could sit there and sketch that and imagine what she looks like far more easily than you could with the ladies from the Cambridge collection. The Cambridge ones are beautiful. This one just has a lot more detail. Like I think the Cambridge Rose lady looks like she's carrying apples. This one, you can tell that she's even got a big daisy or some sort of big flower there on the edge, and that the detail of these other individuals in there are roses coming into the back. Look at those. So you see the basket that she's carrying them in. Beautiful piece, and I just love this detail. I'm not necessarily a deco guy like Scott is, but couldn't pass her up, but happy to send her into another home as I focus on downsizing my collection. So she has gotten a couple of bids, so I'll go ahead and count her down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. So I watch for the countdown for Scott to give me the number.
Let's see.
All right. It looks like a refresh is in order.
I believe Jenny Mack is your winner at 151.
All right. Watching for, that's what I see as well. I just refreshed. So that's what I see as well. Just confirming. Yep. Moderators see the same thing. All right.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much, our friends who are moderating. You are
Yes,
invaluable to us. Invaluable.
it helps clarify, so there's there's other people on our side saying, no, this is what we see. Do we all see the same thing? So it's nice since we can't all see each other. Then I'll just do one last piece. I had pulled this one aside just in case. It's the only piece of Fenton that I have in my entire collection. And I am selling it. It matches my color scheme beautifully. I love this Amberina color scheme. It is a $10 start, and it is a basket. It is the typical Fenton with the pressed handle into the sides, but you don't have to have a lot of question marks to it because this is a later Fenton piece where the Fenton is actually molded into the base. And in case there's any question with that, we're going to shove a sticker on there too, and it's going to show that it's a Fenton piece as well. So we're just going to mark the heck out of this so Fenton gets credit for it. But even if the label disappears, we all know it is Fenton. But they didn't start, what was it, Scott? They started marking in the 70s?
1971.
Okay, early 70s. So this is a later piece as opposed to an older one, but it's the typical Fenton. It has the pointy hobnail on it and kind of see the profile. So when you feel it there, it's a lot more textured than the soft hobnail that I'm used to in the non-Fenton pieces that I've had. Ruffled edge, and hopefully you can see the color pretty nicely. It's got the darker red kind of here at the ruffle, and then as it works its way down, it goes more into the amber. The handle, just verifying it. The handle is pretty much all red. I don't see any color variation in the handle the way it was done. So that one is it's pure red, but the color variation of the Amberina is dark to light. And then this is still amber down here, just a little bit darker because it's thicker where they molded into the base. And then again, Fenton, clear as can be. Perfect condition, lovely piece. It's been sitting in my china cabinet, and I'm getting rid of the china cabinet. So it's one of those cases. Have to choose your favorites, and baskets are not necessarily something I'm continuing into my collection. So this one's available. I see a couple bids. So I'm going to start counting it down. 10, 9, 8, 7. Yeah, that was not Jenny's bid. She was saying it's 1971 and 1972. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and close. And of all the things I'm shipping, that's probably gonna be the most fragile to make sure that the handle doesn't snap. But they're well made.
Oh, let's refresh because Roxana, I don't know. Let me see where you fall. You did it, Roxana. Roxanne S at 41. I see Sherry Craddock at 42 just after the stop. Let's let Heather and Shane, Jeffrey and Karen confirm that for us to make sure I didn't make a mistake. Roxanne S.
Roxanne 41. Excellent. All right. Well, thank you everyone for participating and helping me out clearing out my collections. I'm glad they're all going to go to good homes. It makes it a little bit easier to downsize. But hey, I've enjoyed them, and I'm glad that someone else is going to enjoy them now.
Okay.
And thank you, Scott, for hosting me again and doing 2 sales with me this week. And you had some great stuff. I hope I held my own standing up my collection against yours. So
you put me to shame tonight. No, I'm kidding. You know what? That's the other thing. Whether we're selling a $5 chipped piece of whatever or a $1,000 piece of whatever, it's, I guess, the enjoyment that we get from surrounding ourselves by beautiful things. And the wonderful thing is that we love old stuff. Everyone here tonight loves old stuff. And it's just fun to be in a community that shares that passion. Patrick, it is my privilege to have you here tonight. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Chatting, bidding, watching. You make it
Absolutely.
possible. If you weren't here, Patrick and I would just be staring at each other. And Patrick, that might be more of a chore for you. So thanks, everyone.
And just Scott mentioned when he'd be invoicing, so he's hopefully he said maybe he'll do his tomorrow. I unfortunately have a work commitment tomorrow into tomorrow evening, so I probably will not get my invoices out until this weekend. So I do apologize, but I will have them all out by Sunday.
Okay. It's kind of hard to it's like you do this big 2-hour thing and then it's like drop the curtain. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like you do a Broadway show for 2 hours and okay, bye. It's like you need a few minutes to sort of wind down.
Exactly.
So, well, I guess rather than ramble, we'll say goodnight because it is a work night. We got to set our alarms and get up tomorrow morning and go to work. So we'll do.
Well, you've got another sale coming up, right? Don't you have one coming up on Monday?
Yes. Is that just me solo?
That would be I think that's the first Monday. So yeah, that's just you, right?
It is me solo, and one thing will be this wonderful Heisey basket.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and who knows what else between now? Who knows what I'll find between now and Monday night?
Excellent. Well, thanks again for having me. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight, and appreciate everyone who bid, and even those who didn't. We appreciate you being here and helping support. And thank you for all the kind wishes for my engagement. It's one of those things I don't get too personal out there, but hey, I'm not embarrassed by it. Just this is where I'm at. So I appreciate everyone wishing me well.
Super fantastic. Good night, everyone.
Everybody have a good night. Bye, everybody.
Oh, I have to turn it off. I'm sorry. I'm just sitting here going.
Yeah, it doesn't kill itself.
Okay. Now, where is it? I promise you I have to. There it is. Beep. Beep. Toodles.